About a week ago I did a video to show you how to set the lid per GO2, and that's where I left you. Life got in the way and we're back a week later. We have flat beer here. Doesn't do us any good, so we need to carbonate it. Of course, the carbonation strategy that most people are aware of comes from bottling, where you hit it with some priming sugar, you give it 3 weeks and it comes up to carbonation, but that's not why we got into kegging. If you wanted to do that, you would open the lid and you would put 190 grams of table sugar to carbonate this. That's 6 ounces in US. Still, you're looking at about 3 weeks. So let's talk about how to do forced carbonation. Forced carbonation, there's two methods. There's the set and forget, where you set your regulator at your serving pressure, which might be 10, 12, or 14 psi, and you'll see that in the keg balancing PDF. That's called set and forget. If we want to expedite the process a little bit, we'll do forced carbing. And what we do is you take your regulator, you set it to 30. If you've got cold beer in your keg, you put on the quick disconnect, you set it outside, and you roll it for 8 minutes. If you've got warm beer, I find it takes closer to 15 minutes to do that. So I'll show you how to do that right now. We've got our CO2 regulator set to 30 psi, and we're going to connect our disconnect. Remember, for pin lock, it's the 2 pin, and for Pepsi, it's gray. You hear that? That's the regulator gurgling. It's giving it 30 psi. But we need to encourage it with a little agitation, so we're going to bring it down to the floor and roll it. As you guide the keg to the floor, follow the disconnect down. On the pin lock, they do want to kind of bolt off, and so just help it down, make sure it keeps on its pins. You do want the post that the gas post is on at the bottom, and this will encourage the gas to go through the beer as you gently roll it. It doesn't have to be a fierce rolling. Like I said, on cool beer, about 8 minutes, and on warm beer, 15 minutes. And you'll hear the regulator gurgle. That means it's uptaking gas. After you finish doing that, you bring it back up and disconnect your gas source. What you have now is a carbonated vessel of beer. If you're going to put it in your fridge and you need it to cool down, figure out about a day for it to get down to carbonation or to temperatures. Otherwise, if it's cool right now and you want to serve off your picnic tap, you need to bleed it off. Because there are 30 psi here and it will shoot out like a fire hydrant. After that, reset your regulator down to your serving pressure of 10, 12, and 14, and you're free to pour off of it. Also, down here, what I like to do is I like to label my kegs, especially if you've got a bevy of kegs, it can get kind of confusing. If you're playing around with different yeast, make sure you put the yeast name on there, maybe the date, the alcohol, and the name.